What about your rentals and
Yeah.
deciding whether to keep, like, let's say it's a commercial, like why did you decide to keep the commercial versus a duplex versus, something else?
How much cash are we going to keep in it? Well, I mean, obviously, like the yields are good. That's a good question. I mean, the single family stuff in Columbus doesn't really cash flow anymore. It's more of like an appreciation play, and it's what's in front of you. So this kind of dropped in our lap. It came from an eviction list. It came from a cold call, and I like to think that over the years when I was learning this, I was learning everything. So I can evaluate a multifamily deal. I just don't like it's opportunity cost. If I moved away from what I'm doing now to go learn that, because I know I got to kiss broker's ass for a year or two. Because somebody asked me that question today. I was like, I know what it takes to actually be successful in that, and I just don't want to do that right now. But if a deal falls in my lap, sure, I'll take it down. I can raise the money. I've got that stuff, but it's just not my main focus.
Talking about raising capital. How'd you
Yep.
get started with that? Because I think that's a lot of people are, I'll just be honest, a lot of people are scared of that. They're like, oh, I can use my own capital, but then using other people's money, it's whoa, that's a whole nother level. So walk me
So
through kind of your process, how you're able to do it.
when I was in the beginning, it's easy to raise money. Not, I guess not easy, but it's your only option to raise money when you have no money. So I knew I wanted to flip, and the only way to do this business was to have a little bit of money. I didn't have it. So I had the knowledge. I was starting to learn how to home inspect. I knew I wanted to do it. I was starting to learn, but I didn't have money. So I just started learning from people that were like, hey, you got to raise capital. To me, that was only ever the only option. So I just kind of stuck with that the whole time. I mean, I use my money for my personal life, reinvesting in my business, but I still raise money for every single deal that we do because there's opportunity costs. Once again, in your own money, like if I go lend private money, I need to get 18 to 22% probably on my cash, and I'm paying somebody 12 for my deals. So it just makes sense. So the way I raise money is social proof. I've been posting since I was a home inspector. I wasn't like tactically posting on social media at that time, but like in the morning, I could be walking a house that's boarded up in the craziest neighborhoods of Columbus to a mansion with a Ferrari in the garage as a home inspector. So I would just pull my phone out and post on my story. And you can be a knucklehead and be in real estate and be in and out, but like if people see you a year after year after year being in it, they're like, they got to be doing something right. So then after a while, one of my mentors was like, hey, you got to actually start posting because you're doing really cool stuff. So now, I mean, social media is a crazy, crazy way to raise capital. I mean, I got people that have lent me money that I have no idea what they look like.
Wow. Yeah, walk me through one of these stories about how someone reached out to you via social media.
Yeah, so I have a guy named Marcio. I've met him now, but had like 200 followers because you never know who people are, and they DM me because I always talk about private money. I talk, hey, and I don't like. Sometimes I'm actively raising, but most of the times I'm just throwing in about what I'm doing. Hey, just sold this house, purchase, rehab, sell. My lender made this much. So just always like showing what it is, and then eventually people are gonna be like, hey, tell me more about that. So he shot me a DM. His name's Marcio. We had a phone call, and next thing I know, he was lending me $250,000, and he now lends me $1 million at a time. He lives in Tampa, Florida. I had never met him, and I was at a mastermind. He's like, hey, we should probably meet up for dinner because we're doing a lot of business together, you know? But now, I mean, I take it a little bit step further. So this is for the higher level people. Once you start building that out and you start getting interest, you're going to start having the same phone calls over and over again, which is like, hey, how does it work? What does it do? So now I shot a Loom video. It's about 12 to 15 minutes of, hey, thanks for watching this video. Thanks for reaching out. Here are the documents. Here's my note. Here's my mortgage. Here's how you're protected. Here's my returns. Here's some case studies. If you like this video and you want to learn more, here's my phone number. Let's have an actual conversation. So I can cut through the 30 minutes of bullshit that we're going to talk about to like actually start talking numbers and how much you want to deploy and get through the small stuff.
That's crazy. So, okay, so social media has been probably your number one way
Yeah.
because you basically, which everyone talks about now, but it's documenting the journey. Like you don't got to be doing anything crazy, but it sounds like you've been doing that 4 or 5 years ago. You're like, this is what I'm doing. I'm documenting it.
Yeah.
So people remember you like, oh, he's doing that. Oh, wait, 2 years later, he's still doing it. This
Yeah.
guy's serious. Oh, now he has people lending him money
Yeah.
and he's giving returns. So I love that. That's a great little nugget right there. What else in social media wise do you say is like really been impactful for you to grow your brand from,
Sure.
whatever to 180,000 followers?
Yeah. So I just started posting about what I was doing. So I did it two ways. One, I'll call it, and nothing's right or wrong, but the wrong way for me was how everybody else was doing it. Somebody pushes you to get on social media. You hire a videographer. They come to your office, they follow you around, they shoot everything you do. It makes you anxious, it makes you nervous. You don't really do that much cool shit. So I did that for about a year and I hated it. And it wasn't growing, it wasn't what I wanted. And I was listening to a Hermosi podcast, and his wife, Layla, was like, hey, entrepreneurs, you guys do really cool shit, but that really cool stuff is only 20% of the time. 80% of the time, it's paperwork, it's stress, it's this. Document that 20%. You don't need a camera following you around. You're not Celine Dion. You're not these people. You're not a movie star, right? Your life's not that cool. You don't need a camera following you around. So I was like, and she's like, document that 20. And I was like, oh shit, that is true. Then I went back and I was like, okay, fired that guy. And I was like, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to script everything out word for word in my words. I'm going to look at my deal board. I'm going to look at my journey. I'm going to look at whatever it is. I'm going to hook people in with whatever that first line is, give them actual good information that they can learn something from. And then at the end, call to action them. Hey, follow me or go to this and go to that. And after a while, it just started to really, really take off. So, and we track our KPIs. So back in 2021, I think maybe it was 22. No, it's 21. October of 21, 4,000 followers on all platforms. And then just week after week, it just started to grow and grow and grow. But it's been fun.
When was the majority of the success in, follower subscriber count?
2 years in.
Okay.
A year in with the new guy, so 2 years total. So posting,
Mhm.
and this is literally like tactical posting every single day. Like I've not missed a day in probably 3 or 4 years.
Tommy, I've done it every other week for like 3 years, man. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure you hear that.
It's like the people that want deals. It's like, hey, I want deals. Like, well, how many phone calls have you made? I called a couple people a week ago. It's like, it's not enough. The outputs are not enough. That's majority of the time. And once again, like I don't want to rag on young people, but it's just young people just don't know what it takes to be successful. They've just seen, like, that's the problem with social media is they've glorified these things and made them sound so easy when they're not.